the fire on all sides, the palm trees lit up like matchsticks, you know, the apocalyptic meteor shower, like that image. And to think that, like, all this pain, my loss of thousands of families was somebody's fantasy, was somebody's choice.
This house right here is where they say the suspect that ignited all this on the January 1 fire lived. I'm shaking right now. I don't know if the camera's still. It's a visceral reaction to think about the amount of pain and loss, and it was a choice from a neighbor.
We know that they believe that there was this individual, a person who, by the way, lived in the Palisades at one time, likely started this fire just days before on January the 1st.
Yeah. We exchanged last night messages.
That person was your neighbor.
I used to walk by this house most mornings on my way to the same trailhead. I used to walk with my kids by this house.
I was in shock. Like, could this be literally someone that was that adjacent to our whole community, right? To the very point, right around the corner where all this ignited. So, Bob, last night was my son Grayson's 10th birthday. We were literally sitting on the couch. My wife put together a photo show of all his birthdays, most of which were at that house, right? It was the container of memories, moments, his 9th birthday, his first dance party. And as I'm sitting there, my text thread, my old neighbor text thread starts lighting up. How are you guys doing? Are you checking in? How do you feel? And then someone says, is he really our neighbor?
Wow.
And so I searched the name, put together the address, cross-checked the articles.
I think we have a map, too.
And sure enough,
how close you guys were.
It was the block up. I walked by that house most mornings on the way to the same trail.
People keep asking, like, does it make you feel any better, right, knowing that there might, you know, be some justice, right, for the single person? The main message I want to give to everybody is, no, it doesn't make me feel better. I don't think it makes all my neighbors and the people from this community and all these houses, right, up and down that used to be here feel any better, because it doesn't change anything. Because here's the reality. While maybe the spark, the ignition was maybe a single person's intention, the disaster, the loss, the devastation, that was way beyond one person. That was a systematic failure by people and agencies and institutions designed to prevent any single person.
Even though an arrest has been made, there are still a lot of unresolved issues with you and your old neighbors.
Yeah, well, that's my fear, Jennifer. If I'd be, like, super transparent, like, one person in handcuffs doesn't change anything, right? This doesn't change the story. If anything, this confirms the story. And I'm afraid for all the people watching out there that all of this attention, right? It's like, I got all these messages like, does this make you feel better? No, because that doesn't solve the problem. If anything, and it's tying, it's not that they have a face to the story, it's that they're tying January 7th to January 1st. There was a week. The fire that they're saying he set, that they're saying now was the same. There was a week in between. I walked that same burn mark with my kids on January 5th. You know who I saw up there on January 5th? Nobody. You know how many planes were flying over? None. We live in an age where we can launch rockets to outer space and land them back on Earth, but we didn't fly heat sensors over to see if everything was put out. We couldn't drop water or fire deterrent. 6 days went by.
The tragedy here isn't that one person did a horrible thing. That is horrible. The tragedy here is all of the checks and the balances and the people and the processes that we trust to be in place to prevent one person doing a horrible thing from having such devastation failed. That's the tragedy.
And I watched the effectiveness of the fire. I stayed through it. I was there after. I watched before. I watched after. I watched the effectiveness of the fire department deployed, how fast they could clear. What could they have done in 6 days knowing there's a fire, knowing that it hasn't been cleared, knowing that there's brush, knowing that there's winds coming, knowing all of this, and yet we didn't have time to inspect, manage, act at a city, at a state level to do the things. Maybe the spark was intentional, but the pain, the loss, the devastation, that was preventable. And my fear is that this attention takes the spotlight off the change that actually needs to happen to fix what caused the issue and what has to change to prevent this from happening for communities and families like mine in the future.
Justice is not one man in handcuffs. Justice is the responsibility and the accountability and the change we need to address failure after failure after failure of what just needs to be fixed. So we can begin to actually rebuild, and we can learn from the past, and we can change what needs to be changed. And all this pain for myself, my family, and so many families up and down these streets can have some sort of purpose. Because if not, then what is all this for?
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you guys for continuing to shine a spotlight and keeping this conversation relevant, because the world's moving on, we're still living it, and change has to happen.
You don't have to live in Palisades or live in LA to be a help in this process by continuing to share the story, shine a spotlight. Because the only way to change the talk is to create enough attention and enough pressure to force them sometimes. So that's the update I wasn't expecting to give today from up here at literally ground zero, where it started from just one of thousands of people that are still living the aftermath of it every day.